Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The impeachment plot that was displayed yesterday should clearly tell the education CS and PS to prepare leaving the office as early as it can be. Now, yesterday, the Education Cabinet Secretary and the PS, that is Ogamba and Bitok respectively, were subjected before members of the parliament in Naivasha. And to be precise, I don't get well the intentions of personal wars of the members of the parliament led by ICHUN'GWA towards the education cabinet secretary and most probably the PS Bitok. And as you know, in this channel we only talk about what we know. And in this podcast, I want to clearly reveal to you that this was a well-planned and presented assignment, and the motive of the drama is public verification and to show them the door to leave the office. But before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us for the first time and you've not subscribed to this channel, allow me to humbly request you to kindly subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, like our videos, comment and share. And to those who have already subscribed to this channel, we say thank you very much for your support to this channel.
Because why would a school with 100 students have 28 teachers and the school next door has 600 students without teachers and you have a county director of education in that sub-county? Those are the issues, yes. Because yourself and your PS, you have the most clueless PS in the Ministry of Education. Most clueless. He only sits in Nairobi and has no idea what goes on the ground. Get out of your office in Nairobi, go to the ground, deal with the problems there. Then challenge this house, then to get the 48 billion shillings for you from the budget, and we'll deal with the problem once and for all. Otherwise, what we are doing here now is dancing around issues.
Thank you.
You have danced around the issue of uniform and the circular for school fees. We cannot legislate on school fees. We cannot. You cannot put school fees in a statute.
Now this is what, in my words, I can term as hypocrisy in leadership. Because ICHUN'GWA is the leader of the majority in the National Assembly. And whatever ICHUN'GWA raised here yesterday, or whatever those members of parliament raised here yesterday, they are not the things they realized yesterday. You know, these members of the parliament are the representatives of the people. And instead of waiting to discourage and badly diminish these cabinets and PS before the other government officials or before leaders when called for retreat, a very responsible leader could have made a good approach, because these cabinet secretaries have been appearing in the National Assembly for questioning. They would have probably assembled their impeachment based on this incompetence in their roles. You see? Now what ICHUN'GWA is doing there is just to diminish the PS, because what is he trying to bring out? This is just populism. ICHUN'GWA is just trying to play populism. And by the way, I agree with the Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Masika Wetangula, when he said that members of the executive, that is the state parastatals, and those other state officials outside the parliament normally appear in parliament for questioning and have always complained. They have been complaining about the harassment and extortion by the members of the parliament who try to blackmail them and need favors from them so that they can make good judgments of those officials when presented for questioning in the parliament. And that is where the parliament lost its integrity when it normalized blackmailing the officers who appear in parliament for questioning to account for what they have done for Kenyans, you see. So from that perception, I'm not buying ICHUN'GWA's statements or approach to the cabinet secretaries or the PS. Now I want you to look at the selective approach in this. You know, we are terming the PS as a clueless PS. The same energy that ICHUN'GWA or these members of the parliament used to address the cabinet officials in the education sector, that is what I thought or I expected could have been done to the cabinet secretary of the Ministry of Health. Aden Duale, who is also overseeing the Ministry of Health, even though he is the one whose sector is failing Kenyans, and in this ministry, this is where 11 billion Kenyan shillings of SHA money was reported missing. And that energy that was used to address the cabinet secretary and the PS of education is what, by my view, could have been used to address even Aden Duale.
This system, Honorable Speaker, has what we call AI-driven fraud engine. It's very active. It detects anomalies in real time. For instance, the system flagged the facilities claiming for procedures that they lack equipment to perform. We found one facility in a county where they told us level 3, they said they are doing C-section. So I walked into that facility. And I asked, the governor said that facility cannot do C-section because there's no theater. So I told him, let's go to it. And when I went and we found the gentleman running the place, the first question I asked him is, take me to the theater. And he says, I have no theater. The second question I asked him then, where are you doing these C-sections? Because you have claimed 65 C-sections in the last 2 months, which we have rejected, we have not paid him. So the engine really helped us. The engine also helped us inflating bills for patients who never walked through their doors. Following these system flags, Honorable Speaker, we have engaged the Director of Criminal Investigation to conduct deep investigation. I can confirm to this House, the DCI has so far concluded 24 files for 24 facilities implicated in fraud. Two of the former CEO of SHA are before court. A number of staff of SHA are before court. A number of owners of facilities are before court. 25 doctors, SHA has withdrawn their rights to access because the system picked a pattern of doctors in operating in 10 counties. The doctor is in Homa Bay, then he's in Kisii, then you'll find him in Garissa, then you'll find him in Malindi. So the system picked, and some of them were involved. So 22 doctors.
Now Duale is preaching the gospel, smiling to the cameras and giving explanations to the country how the money has been lost, and 11 billion Kenya shillings have been lost in the SHA scheme approximately 6 months after its enrollment. You see? So the kind of energy that ICHUN'GWA used to those education officials, that is what I expected to see to Aden Duale. You know, don't get me wrong on this, because I'm not trying to defend the Ministry of Education, or I'm not trying to defend the education officials or any other officials of another ministry. But we can also not be pleased with the ministry officials from the challenges affecting the people in their respective sectors most probably in health and education sectors. But you know, the issues in Elimu House borders and takes in many other factors. But the approach of the MPs in Naivasha on this is not productive to the ordinary citizen, because I believe that what should be raised should be taking into consideration the interests of an ordinary citizen. And by using an example, Lilian Gogo, who is the member of parliament of Rangwe, said something here, and I want you to get it before I tell you what I want to explain about it.
Education, why don't you pick your calls? I don't call you for anything personal. When I call you, I'm a representative of the people, and you don't pick your call. And you expect 350 members to come and camp in your office? Why don't you pick your calls? I text you, you don't return my text. Do you know that there are elected leaders whom you should liaise with when you are going to their constituencies? You come to Rangwe, they make for you tea, they do lunch, and you don't tell me you are in my constituency. Then you make a promise you are going to do a multipurpose hall. Nothing has been done on it up to today. How do you go to my constituency to do foundation stone and you don't involve me? Where?
Now see that statement from Lilian Gogo. You see, is there a rule saying that if ministry officials visit your area, you must be informed? Kwani, how many times have the cabinet officials visited or attended functions in different regions or counties where even the governors or the senators did not attend? You know, if you look at this Lilian Gogo's statement to the Cabinet Secretary of Education, you see, it is too personal, yeah? It is too kwani. You know, I think this our MPs also have to do something. They are above this. I believe they can do better than this. No? So if the Cabinet Secretary does not receive your calls, how does that bother the ordinary citizen? Because if there is a problem in the education sector, does what Gogo say give a clue or any solution to the problem? Has what Gogo said there showed some helps in solving the problems affecting that sector? This is too personal. You know, the problems facing the education sector are caused by many factors which they cannot be directed to or claimed on one individual. For example, let me give you this example. The president recently said something about education that left every parent smiling. And he said the heads of schools should allow back the pupils in schools or the students in schools with or without money and uniform. Yes, the president pleased the parents. He misled them. Yes, he achieved that. He achieved that misleading information and pleasing the parents. But can I ask you, do you think a parent who has failed to afford the uniform can afford food? How about books? And how about the other requirements?
Children you are taking to school and now they are not even going there. Yeah, you have seen. Because education itself is dead. Yes. You ask the people in the ministry, those who are honest and who are close to you, they will tell you the truth. And they'll tell you, but don't say, I said this. Don't say, I talked to you. They will tell you, we actually don't know where we are going. They will tell you that we don't even know whether we can develop the infrastructure. The president wakes up in the morning, makes populist pronouncements that every child must go to school, whether they have paid fees or not.
Or with their old uniform, whether they have
the old
uniform or
uniform.
not.
When they get to school, where are they going to sleep?
Good question.
Which blankets are they going to use? Which mattresses are they going to use? Which water are they going to use to bathe? What food are they going to eat? This kind of cheap populism that you come there and, when you find a man speaking at the speed of lightning in a single register throughout a campaign register, and his bilas, angry, he is petulant, then you know there's something terribly wrong with this individual who speaks to frighten, to inveigle, and mislead the nation. Focus is 100% on remaining in power, and you can't even predict what they will do after that. If President Ruto is perchance re-elected, the next conversation in this country is going to be removal of term limits.
Now, this is what I can say about it, that the president should stop this populism and stop misleading the country. And it is high time the members of the parliament should now start turning the swords facing them. Because actually most of the problems affecting this country originated from the parliament. Why? Because the members of the parliament tend to be so materialistic, forgetting about the interests of their people who elected them to be represented in parliament. You see, they've turned to like money, and what they can only talk about is money, not even the interests of the citizen, not the challenges that the ordinary citizen is passing through. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this podcast. And if you've watched this podcast and you've not subscribed to this channel, I humbly request you to kindly subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, like our videos, comment, and share. And to those who have already subscribed to this channel, we say thank you very much for your continued support to this channel. And dear ladies and gentlemen, your support to this channel is not taken for granted. We really appreciate your support that you've been providing to this channel since the day it started. And that is what has kept this channel alive. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.